of Studio Fusion. And we are streaming live in a few different places like YouTube and Twitch and Twitter and a couple other places. And I am Deborah and Martin.
Yes. Hello.
Well, the,
Are
I
you
was like,
trigger happy, Deborah?
yeah, I think so. I was like,
Good.
and you are, and I was like, wait a minute, I actually introduced you. I meant to
Yes.
say, and you are, and then I
Yes,
give
I
you a
am.
chance.
I am Martin.
We're just deciding, are we? Are we not? Are we?
Mm.
Yeah, I'm a little trigger happy. Today we're talking about community,
Mm.
and are we for or against? I think that podcasts should at least think about having a community. What do you think, Martin?
Yes, but and it's not a but personally and philosophically speaking, I'm thinking of a word community. Here in Swedish, you talk about commune, like the place you're living at, and so
Mm-hmm.
on. And it's been thrown around this word community, in a way.
Because when
But
you say that commune, that's like we say commune, and that
yeah,
has a whole different
yeah, and
meaning
that's what
than yeah.
I get that philosophically speaking that vibes. But that's why I often talk about digital town hall. That I see the
Mm-hmm.
building
Mm-hmm.
on the internet. That you have an entree, a door, a reception, welcoming some ground rules for the community, how you should
Right.
behave,
Right.
and then you have separate rooms that you could check in and look into. That's
Mm-hmm.
what I call it. But mainly speaking, it is a community, and I think you should have it, and then you start with one listener. You have a podcast for one listener, your persona or yourself or who it is, and of course,
Mm-hmm.
if I want to join the community and being fans, true fans, that they are really fans in a way, that they want to be listening on a regular basis like a loyal fan, and then interact in one way or another, and then also support your work. Then of
Right.
course I'm all for a community, and there you have this the concept of 1,000 true fans or 100
Right.
true fans, or and a community is not free to build it if you program it yourself or you use some groups, and then of course to find the value there. But so I'm all for it, but I see the challenges also.
Right.
So
Well, and you're right. It's not free. You're either paying.
yeah,
Sorry, I keep putting my hand up because I talk with my hands, and so sorry, guys. I have it all bandaged. It's fine, but I'm not in a car accident or anything like that. It's all good. Just a surgery, but that enough said. But community isn't free because you're either programming yourself, so you're putting a lot of time and effort into it, or you're paying somebody else to do it. So it doesn't just like poof out of
yeah,
out of thin air. So yeah, it costs in some way to put it
yeah,
together. But
uh,
there was a lot of benefits. Like last week, we had the whole thing where we had the video and we were talking about it and the validation of RSS and the whole thing. And that's our most recent podcast. By the way, the podcast a bit late because I did some automation for it. So a little bit of an enhancement. Won't go all into that in this episode, but that is forthcoming. Anyway,
yeah,
but that's a place where you can put your resources. So as
yeah,
we're talking here, it's like, hey, go visit our community and you'll be able to watch that video that we referenced.
yeah. And I like that often I say, you could check the show notes and so on. Then, of course, it's a challenge. Do the listener really go to the show notes? Do they know where to go? And
Hmm.
in Swedish, it's even harder to explain what is a show notes in Swedish. We say
Really?
anteckningar, like notes, but it's
Hmm.
an English word, and the show notes from a movie or the title that come
Hmm.
after the movie and so on. So you have to explain it, and then of course it's up to listeners. Do they want to have extra material? Do they want to click on links? Do they want to join a community, or do they want to lurk around or whatever? But I think that's good because I have missed that. I could say that for Biz Sugar and also
Hmm.
Fizzle. They are both, I would classify them as communities, and
Right.
they are no more in that shape or matter. But maybe they'll, come alive again or something. So I really like a digital town hall or a digital online community.
I like your
So
description, digital town hall.
yeah,
That's good. But a lot of people, I mean, I like your description. I understand it, but it seems like in the U.S. here they use the term community.
Yeah,
So,
of course
I mean,
it's and commune and digital town hall of course is could be more not political but where it's the voter are going there and they listen to things and vote for that or raise their hands or having an exchange of ideas and discussion and debate even or discourse. I think that's good also. But there are is a good community out there for indie podcasters that I think it's Colin Gray of All2 and the podcast host that started it. And I think it's a special room for All2 users, but it's open for everyone, podcasters. What I see there again is the challenge to be a frequent user and come in and adding your 2 cents to the conversation, ask a question if something is, and reply to something. And they are building it on Circle, I think. So there are
Right.
lots of tools out there, and it's matter of taste what you like. So you have now found it's interesting their business model there, how they see what other are doing, and then do it their way. And it's brand new for me, so it was fascinating to see. And I got
I
curious
love it.
again. I wondered who is behind that address in Hong Kong. And
Sam Baker,
yeah.
and I'm familiar with other things that he's developed. I can't, right now. I'm sorry, brain dead. Can't quite list them all. Sorry, Sam. But he has developed a lot of things, and I've used them and loved them, and so he's very talented as a developer. But this particular tool, I've been waiting for this because I've used School. You remember School?
Yes, you invited me to me.
SKOOL.
Yeah, and I
the,
thought when I saw that, and I be frank because I'm not a programmer on layout, so I could say that. When I looked at that design, I was thinking, where is it coming from?
Mm-hmm.
And
It's
then
very similar.
yeah, but
It's very,
but it
there's
was
more.
but it was a bit more. Another thing, it was this about the price point and how to refer to others. And I'm all for referrals if you like it and value it, and what you could do it. But if it's this, in a way, push or stress, then it could be stressful for you. But I believe in the friendly competition, and you have to find different price models, and that's the thing. Hopefully, plenty of users of like so-called free, quotation marks, groups of Facebook would think about that in the future. Say, is this really free, or what are we using the data?
Well, Facebook, I've heard of people using Facebook, and not to knock Facebook,
No.
but even though it's free, by the time they do all the things they have to do it for free, they're actually spending more money and more time because there's like so many people
Yeah.
that they save money using School. And School is $99 per month. But
Yeah.
the only reason I reference it is I love School. But hey, if I have 2 groups and that's $200 per month,
Yeah, so they are doing that model.
that gets $2,400 per year. I can't afford it. But
so
it's
we
just too
should-
much.
Yeah, we
you
should
know,
be.
And
Frank.
I want to give away the community for free, so I don't want to charge people to belong to my podcast community. But
So
this one,
Yep.
for now, for a short period of time, I don't know how long, and I know this sounds like a sales pitch, and
Yeah.
I can't stand sales pitches, so I'm not trying to do this as a sales pitch. I really am sharing this because it really is a limited time, and I can't stand hearing myself say this, Martin, because it just sounds so sleazy,
It's all-
like a
it's all
car
okay.
salesman. But they really are. They're going to go to a model that I think is like the School model, where it's
Yeah.
$99 per month. But for a short period of time, you can actually get it for, I think, a one-time deal, and then you don't have to pay monthly. So if anybody,
it's similar to-
yeah,
What's
if
that?
anyone-
AppSumo. That kind of style. AppSumo deals.
yeah, exactly. Now I got
So-
it for a really good deal, and that
That's
deal is past. Where like unlimited groups and all. I mean, I feel like
Good for
like
you.
heaven sent gift, but
But
I think
but
that
still,
one is past.
it's a value.
but yeah,
So if somebody would join, if I could now join for free, if I value that you got that good deal, then they could stream Satoshis, they could send boostergrams,
Yep. Yep.
comments with payment, and of course we could add like buy me a coffee or buy me a tea or buy me a pizza
Yep.
or buy me a Diet
Yep.
Coke. That's your
Yep.
favorite beverage, right? Because
Well-
it will take time, energy, and money in a way, depending on how you're counting, to keep this community alive and kicking.
exactly. And
As
not
a
to
former
knock School, but
Moderator,
this-
I know about that. So.
This one has more features. Like right away,
Yeah.
you saw that I added my domain, and I don't know that maybe school is getting that, but I didn't see that school
Yeah.
has that feature.
Okay.
But this one right away, I mean, it took like maybe 5 minutes, and I had my domain on it, so it was really easy to do that.
That's good.
Super simple.
And on this, you could in the future have like video material courses, this kind of
Yep.
thing also,
Yep.
and
The only
gamification.
Oh yeah.
that-
Oh
yeah.
yeah. Gamification. Yep. The only
Because that's
thing they
the
didn't have
yeah
that bothers me, and I'm sure that he'll fix this. I'm sure that it'll eventually be fixed. But in the calendar, you know how we have Eileen and I have that thing every month.
yeah
It's the first Saturday.
yeah
I added it, and it doesn't say first Saturday of every month. It says like the date. Like it'll say the 8th of every month instead of first Saturday of every month. That is
Okay.
the only con I have found, and I'm sure that eventually someone will say, "Hey, this is really annoying. Can you fix this, Sam?" And
yeah.
he'll go out and fix it. I'm sure that's just one of those features he hasn't fixed yet.
Hmm. Yeah, it's this about time and time zones and calendar. What way you're writing your here in Europe? You're doing like the year, then month, and then date. And in a way, when you're
Well,
doing the listing, it's
it's
making sense. Yeah,
recurring,
recurring.
and
Yeah,
the recurring doesn't have an option for can we recur on the first Saturday of every month or the
and
second
that's
Monday of every month. That's
same.
not an option, but I'm sure he'll add it.
Yeah, that's probably the same issue. But I know that other calendar, Google Calendar and others. I have that for the podcast Produktivitet and Pen Meets Paper. So that's you one that's doing the editing and so on and publishing it. We have a recurring every
Mm-hmm.
2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
But when something happens, and it's not often, but sometimes, and then he has to go in and change for that week, and then
Yep. Yep.
push it a bit forward and so on. But it's
But the
working. But then you get these emails that okay, now it's a calendar thing edit, and when
Yep.
a new one comes.
But the cool thing on this one, like on school, you have to go edit a page. That's all you get is this little tiny little spot, and that's it.
Yeah.
And not to not school, but this design for this particular, and we'll show like next week. Maybe that's what we'll do next week. Actually, show what's going
Yeah.
on. But you can do it with cards. It's like having little business cards, but they're not business cards. They're little design cards. And I know what it's like because that's how my website is with focus cards. But I don't want to confuse people. So anyway, on the card, it's like you pick an event, and they'll show right on your homepage. They'll say, "Hey, this event is happening on this particular date," and it'll show it right on the homepage.
That's
So
cool.
you don't
That's
have to
neat.
design this homepage. You can pick parts from what you already have in the community, and it's automatically designed for you. So that is really cool.
That sounds like that sounds really neat. So then
Makes
you
it
have to do this
streamlined.
call to action directly at now, and then at the end also. Where do
Yeah.
they find the community?
For community for our podcast,
Yes.
it is studiofusion.club.
Mm.
I thought that would be an easy one to remember. .club.
Yeah,
Well,
like
I had the domain.
Clubhouse. Yeah.
Yeah,
Do
exactly.
you serve drinks also? Virtual drinks?
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
Yeah.
We'll have like little pictures, little emoji, little. That's a good idea. So studiofusion.club. And what I thought for a call to action for this week's podcast, because remember we're having a call to action every week, and you guys can track it, and we'll figure out a way to gamify that as we mentioned last week. But I was thinking, Martin, how about something community related? So either research communities or start a community, do some kind of a community action, and if you
Yeah.
can't think of anything else, come join our community, and
That's
that
a
will
good
work
one.
too.
Yeah.
So I don't want to force people to join our community, so I didn't
Or-
want to say, hey,
Or
that's your
join
call to
True
action.
Fans. Create
Yeah.
an account on True Fans.
But I think that was our call to
Yeah.
action last week.
That's
But
good.
oh no, last week no, you're right. Last week was validate.
Yeah, to the validating.
Yeah.
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 So that's good.
So
I think that's a great way of doing it, because that's the so-called, I don't know if it's the right wording for that, but the critical mass.
mhm.
You need a certain amount, but then it's always these 80-20 rules. So, and you need to, like a potluck conference or event, that who is bringing the drinks or the chips or the food, or
Mhm.
who's taking care of a place. because it has to do that in a digital town hall or in a building.
Yep.
So, but that's yeah, I think that's a good call to action. As again, I miss forums and communities like Fizzle and small business trends, the Big Sugar thing, the sharing, and
I
also
miss
the
that too.
community
Yeah.
and the mastermind. And I think they will come back again also, but it's lots of work with them.
Mm-hmm.
So, and also the tool with the updating when you have a community, it's lots of yeah, how to say, building blocks and other things and so on, and it's important to keep it in a good way.
Yep.
I think it's a great way. So do you want to share, to screen share or show something from the community, or?
I think we should save that for next
Yeah,
week. My little hand needs
sounds
some
good.
rest, so so on this one. But I think let's get people thinking and need some time to actually prepare the community so people can join and
Yeah,
add some videos and some graphics and some. I was gonna say in some videos and some graphics and
yeah,
and finish that automation. So, how about if we call it good
yeah,
today?
yeah.
And we will catch all of you same time, same place next week. But before I go, Martin, anything to add?
I think that's a good one. I did the call to action, and again, of course, I think join True Fans, follow Studio Fusion there, and if
Oh,
you like it,
yes, yes,
become a fan
yes.
and
Check
start
and stuff
listening,
out.
because I would say that I really talk about gamification. I'm on the charts there now. I think the super fans chart on
Yes,
listening,
yes.
and also sending some donations, and if we could get more and more doing it voluntarily, of course, but get it.
Yep. And
This
then you can
will
become our
really,
super fan.
yeah.
Yep.
So that's
Exactly.
good.
You get a piece of the profit then. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So yeah, you have to become a fan to become a super fan and get a
Yep.
piece of the profit of Studio Fusion. So good point. So anyway, well, thank you for tuning in, and again, we'll see you same time next week.
Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you. Sorry, my finger won't work.